where I have the pleasure of introducing Heather from Benevity, and very excited to have you here, Heather. Let's move to the next slide. Before we kind of dive in, I want to introduce our audience to Benevity. So Benevity is a global company headquartered in Calgary, Canada, with large hubs across Europe, Asia, and Australia. Benevity enables and supports over 20 million change makers across the world. We're really excited to have Benevity here, and here at Zendesk, we're also a customer of Benevity. Heather, we'd love to hear from you. Introduce yourself. Let the audience know a little bit more about you.
Sure. Thanks, Meaghan. I'm Heather Eeles, the VP of Client Support at Benevity, and I've got the unique and lovely role of leading all of our support teams. So we actually work with an audience, a bigger audience of at Benevity, where we have nonprofits that we work with. We also work with big organizations and their goodness program administrators, as well as all of their employees. And so my team supports every aspect of whatever their program is in making change happen. And so we have about 1,000 clients with millions and millions of change makers, either making donations, logging volunteer time, or doing an act of goodness around the world. We average about 350 to 400,000 support requests a year across our entire ecosystem. And we have dispersed over $12 billion to nonprofit communities. So when a world crisis comes into play, our teams get super, super busy because we work with those clients in making change happen and supporting that world crisis.
Awesome. Thank you, Heather. And again, we're very excited to have you here and learn a little bit more from you on how your teams are using Zendesk AI. So let's kind of pause on the slides for a minute. We'll get into fireside chat mode. Too bad we don't have like a beautiful fire kind of burning in the background for everyone. But Heather, could you share which Zendesk AI tools you are leveraging today and how you're using them?
Yeah, for sure. We pretty much use every one of them. We've signed up for every EAP possible, and every feature that's actually released, we've had it installed for the AI. Our favorite and most used AI feature is the make more friendly button when finessing the tone of the response. And the reason why that is the most used is because it is directly a good example of Benevity's tone and how we talk to our clients, our users, and our nonprofits. And so it's really great to have our teams be able to just at a click of a button finesse the language and sound like what we want to sound like at Benevity. We also use sentiment analysis. So basically when we get a negative or a very negative sentiment ticket that comes in, we have rules in place that automatically prioritizes that request and also brings it to the awareness of our operations leads so that we're jumping on those escalated situations faster. But like I said, we use pretty much everything. We use Summarize, we use Intense, we have AI bots. We now use that call transcribe. We use suggested macros, suggested tickets, all of them.
Awesome. This is great, Heather. And apologies in advance. You're probably going to have a lot of people reaching out to you since you use all the tools. So
we're all good. Yeah, happy to.
Fantastic. And thanks for sharing a bit more there. When it comes to the change management strategy, like what was your approach in introducing these AI tools to your CX operations?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it's probably most the important thing to do is manage the change of implementing the AI. You're not going to get the ROI unless you actually get people adopting the tools and adopting the features. So we actually had a dedicated role stood up to drive the change. And so that means training our agents. It meant constantly updating new features and making awareness across the business of those new features. The whole team was quite excited about AI. We are a technology organization. So when you say something new and exciting in technology, we jump all over it. But we had a person, two people actually stood up to just adopt the AI across our support teams. And we got to the place where now every Friday there's a new video that says, hey, have you thought about this feature? Have you tried this feature? And we actually share that across the business for all the teams that work within Zendesk.
I absolutely love that. So of the two that you've kind of put in this role, they're coming up with little like tips and tricks weekly for the rest of the team.
Yeah. And now we actually see people collaborating more on the AI features. Like We'll do a walk by in a team meeting and people are talking about, hey, did you know that this exists? Can you try this out? So we've built onboarding with the new AI features, and yeah, we're just really, our teams are quite excited about it.
That's great. Well, I'm glad they were excited. I think still maybe other teams are worried about like the trust aspect and building trust with their agents, and more so like presenting it as like, this will help you. Obviously, it sounds like your teams were very excited to use it, but did you have to do any like trust building, kind of that initial piece to kind of get them wanting to use these tools?
Yeah, of course. I think really understanding their pain points. So for us, our support teams, when a world crisis happens, which is truly unfortunate, we have such a wide vast of clients that want to support and users that want to support that world crisis. So our support volume triples in size in a matter of moments. And so every time that happens, our agents get so overwhelmed with what's in front of them and being able to answer fast, because they too see the world crisis going on. And so they want to actually provide the extra support too, but they know that I just received 5,000 support requests in a matter of 5 minutes. Like, how are we ever going to go through this? So understanding what from their lens that problem was, we were able to show how AI can actually help in those times so that they can, better respond. They have quicker responses. We're directing tickets to the people that have the confidence or know how to really run with those types of tickets. And so we presented it and got them bought in by truly showing that it's solving their problem. Not solving, yes, it solves a business problem, but it's solving their problem. So understanding what's really important to them and meaningful for them is really necessary in order to get them to try something new.
Amazing. Definitely understanding their position and their pain points, super valuable. So thank you for that insight. My next question is just really around how did leveraging these tools, improve, your automation capabilities and improve your overall agent onboarding? And actually, Brett, if you don't mind, we're going to bring up that a slide. You've got some pretty incredible results that you've been seeing from using Zendesk AI. So we'd love to learn a little bit more about how maybe it's helped you scale and improve your agent onboarding.
Yeah, we started with truly using intent to help auto-categorize support requests. And so when we bring somebody on in our support team, it's normally a training of 6 weeks long, roughly. And I think by week 4 or 5, they're actually hands-on in the queue and touching tickets and responding to tickets. The challenge that we saw is when those folks were ready to handle tickets, they had to hunt through thousands of support tickets to actually get to the ones that they were trained on and then they could build confidence in. And so using the AI feature intent allowed us to automatically categorize those type of tickets that new members were trained on and can answer. And so it built their confidence faster. And so instead of hunting through this big, huge queue of support tickets, they actually had a view with the ones that they were trained on, and they could quickly answer and quickly gain confidence. And we found that we can move to the next topic in their training a lot faster. And we actually now see people in the queue within that 3rd week of their training because they have that level of confidence. So we slimmed down. Yeah, it's still a 6-week training program, but they're already actioning requests within the first 3 weeks, which is amazing.
Amazing. Incredible results. And we've kind of are sharing those here on the screen. So thank you for sharing that. How do you make sure AI keeps functioning at this peak performance and continuing to boost your agent productivity, for example?
Yeah, well, it's still new for us. I think we implemented all the features just at the end of February. And every time there's a new feature, we tag on and put it in place. But we constantly have those best practices sessions with our teams, the Ask Me Anything style lessons to make sure that people are getting their questions answered. Or if they have concerns about an AI feature or how to use it, that they have an outlet to go ask those questions. I know that Zendesk just released their AI dashboard too. So we've been playing around with that and keeping a good pulse on, who is using the AI features and which ones they're using and who's not using them and Why aren't they using them? So we actually reach out to people in our teams to say, hey, have you tried this feature yet? Let's walk through it together. And we handhold a little bit more just to make sure that people are truly adopting the new features and trying them out. By having some of our AI features enabled, our teams are saying that they're saving like 1 to 5 minutes on each support request, which is pretty impeccable. We didn't really measure it beforehand because it was so brand new for us, but it also lets us get to a place where we're answering faster. Our CSAT is higher because we're answering faster. And so our CSAT is even increased by 10%. So we have very clear metrics now as a baseline of how we want to use AI, how we report on how many people are using AI, and then the actual results of it. The most important one that you see on here, the 58%, because we put sentiment analysis in place, we're able to action those negative feeling tickets and those users 58% faster than other users, which, if you think about it, if you reached out to a client organization today and you were upset about something, you don't want to sit there and wait for a day for a response. So we're answering them within the hours. So they're no longer waiting. So I think it's a combination between seeing the report in Zendesk of who is using the AI, but also watching your metrics, your standard metrics, and how they're improving over time.
Incredible. You did mention there a little bit about how you're having these meetings internally with teams. Obviously that's one big aspect of ensuring, this continuous feedback loop, making sure that you're continuously improving. Anything else around kind of getting more from your teams on how you're continuing to improve? I know you mentioned you're having meetings and things like that. Anything else you wanted to share?
Yeah, I think it's just truly connecting with your team and seeing how things are being used. And also using the reporting that Zendesk offers. We even look at the bot reporting now to see how many people are able to self-serve more than before with our new bot and our new workflow. It's really about connecting. So every chance we have or every meeting that we have, we talk to people about the new AI features and functionality. We're actually rolling out this over the summer months, a full customer service training for every single support person, just a re-level set. And part of that too is how are you using AI to serve your customers more? So it's that connection. So it's really multi-pronged in capturing feedback and sharing that feedback. We also, we have great relationships with the Zendesk product managers and your team too, Meaghan. And so we share that feedback back to Zendesk as well.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you, Heather. One last question. What does the future look like for Benevity with AI? What are you thinking next?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things. We have one bot installed right now for our nonprofit community. Their name is Georgie. And we're looking at installing 2 other bots, one for our employees, so the employees of all our clients, and also the administrators of our clients. So it's the bot focus more in the future that we're really interested in, because that'll also enable us to turn on Messenger and have more of a live chat experience longer term, which we don't offer today. So that's really our primary focus. But we're also looking at ways that we connect Zendesk with Benevity specific data. So for example, we have users sometimes that want to know where their donation is. Did it get sent to the nonprofit, or is it still being processed? And so being able to answer that question, because we have the data, it's in our backend systems, but be able to use that data and able to automatically respond to that user is something that we're really excited about it as well. And then finally, every time I get to meet with my Zendesk crew and seeing the AI roadmap, there's so much value there and benefit that we love partnering, and we're looking at the next big thing for AI from Zendesk.
Well, you've been a wonderful partner, and thank you for this opportunity to just learn a little bit more from you. We'll bring back the slides if that's all right. And again, just like we did with Merlinda, I would love the opportunity to pull a couple live questions from the Q&A. We've got some really great ones in there. First and foremost, so we'll do 2. Meredith is asking, how do you measure the 1 to 5 minute per ticket? Is it based on self-reported, or are you using any specific reporting, and maybe can share a bit more there?
Yeah, it's a combination of both. One, it's more subjective based on what our team members are seeing. We don't have a really great way of measuring because we don't have baselines around resolution rates as of yet. So it's more the sentiment from our agents on how much time they're saving on the support request. But we are putting baselines in place for resolution times on specific tickets that we know have a high AI activity on. And so we can see that over time. Are we solving those tickets faster?
Awesome. And you mentioned also the generative AI dashboard too. That has been wonderful on the ticket metrics side, showing you like how the tools might be impacting the first and full resolution time too. So just kind of plugging that one again here too for you, Meredith. Hopefully that helps as well. And then one more question. Does Benevity have plans to do work in the future with South Africa? Because we do have a couple people calling in from South Africa.
Oh, that's a great question. I would love to connect afterwards, potentially.